Before I start off this review, I would like to publicly disclose that this review was made back in February. So the thoughts I have in this particular review may not reflect the thoughts that I have now. But let's get right on to it. Here I am doing Teen Titans Go again, the one that gave me a copyright strike with the first collab I had on my channel. So great, so great. Look what I'm doing here. At least one of the videos I know isn't going to give me a copyright strike, but enough about strikes. This is all about positivity, right? Hey yo everyone, and welcome to the Alpha J Show. I'm your host, the Alpha J, and today I'll be taking on, what is this, the 6th or 8th episode in which I compare and contrast Teen Titans Go again, but with the Angry Beavers, like I said before. And this was held off for a very, very, very long while. It was supposed to be in April, and now we're in freaking August. So originally I wanted to review the Angry Beavers finale. The only source I could find was the audio, so I decided to pair this one up with one of the top 5 infamous Teen Titans Go episodes. Personally, I think that's The Fourth Wall, which is what I will compare the finale to. Return of Slade, Let's Get Serious, Reading, and I'm not going to mention the top infamous Teen Titans Go episode in my opinion because that's going to be number 50. Return of Slade and Let's Get Serious were already reviewed, just not on my channel. And I already reviewed Reading, so let's get into this. Due to this being a versus review than a standard review, I won't go into the play-by-play too much, instead opting to tell you why one thing works and why the other thing may or may not. So as you know, The Fourth Wall is a Teen Titans Go episode that revolves around the characters knowing that they are in a television show. Now if you watch my 40-40-20 review, then you may have noticed that I said that the show creators are aware of the show's stupidity. And I use stupidity because that is the word that they use. So if you know that, then you should be aware that they don't handle breaking the fourth wall with tact and grace. Why not have Beast Boy twerking in the camera? Why not have the main characters shame you for watching their show? Why not reference awards and the previous show using more of the content you said in the interview that you said that you don't use? Around this time, a Deadpool movie was released. Deadpool loves to break the fourth wall. That should tell you how dated my script is. So why do shows break the fourth wall? Well, it's a common, intelligent type of humor. The self-awareness does bring you out of the immersion of it just being moving pictures and voice actors. But it does so in a way that makes you laugh at the absurdity. Their problems are resolved in 13 minutes. But if you don't handle it with the respect that it requires, you end up appearing to be self-hating. Yeah, let's teach children to be incredibly pessimistic in their self-awareness. I believe the Angry Beavers handled this much better and with the respect it deserves. By respect, I don't mean they handled it in a serious manner. It's funny, it's a funny piece of audio, but you can tell they weren't jealous or envious, or as they say nowadays, salty. Even if the staff of Angry Beavers were all extremely butthurt from being off the air soon, they didn't show that in the cartoon. You know how much maturity it takes to put on a mask and handle something maturely without getting your personal feelings involved? Well, that's a win-win question. If you said it takes a lot, then that should show you how much effort the Angry Beavers put into their finale. But if you said it takes little effort, then it shows you how Teen Titans Go fails to do even the most simplest form of intelligent comedy. So in The Fourth Wall, Control Freak reveals to the Teen Titans their own TV show. So it's a show within a show. Obviously, Beast Boy, the one with the least intelligence, would know that Teen Titans Go is a show. At least give it to Cyborg so your implications aren't crap.
At this very moment, you are being broadcast to TVs around the world!
Which is why I'm currently watching this on my phone and you on your laptops, phones, or tablets. Now my new favorite show, Teen Titans Go, and I know they don't say that now, but the fact that they said it 100 times per second back when I make this script, I'm not gonna let them forget that. How would you respond knowing this information?
People are watching us without our permission? Ew, what a bunch of creeps.
Creeps!
The creeps!
You fools be creepy!
Class. I wonder what the biggest fanboy of Teen Titans Go would think. They would probably call this satire. This isn't satire though, and it's not parody. What is it parodying? If it was satire, it would bring the faults in this show. But they don't think their stupid show has any faults. Besides, a 10-hour show and their faults wouldn't bring in the ratings.
Oatmeal. And someday, I'm gonna donate your brain to science. Hey! Maybe they're collecting door to door. Great, googly, muggly, howchi, baba, and woola booga. Dag, we're over!
That was the beginning of the Angry Beavers episode. Not even 30 seconds in and they established a conflict. That's 3 times as early as our modern new favorite stupid show, Teen Titans Go. For those of you who may missed it, the Beavers were outside, and Norbert, better known as Norb, was checking the mail. One of the pieces was a cancellation notice. I'll explain as we go along.
Bye-bye. Why?
Because we are over!
Over? Over what?
Over! As in done, through, finished, ended, terminated, defunct, extinct, extinguished.
It takes a second for Dag to get it through his thick skull, but they keep it comedic this whole time. You see, Norb already knows he's in a cartoon. He does not shame the audience for watching him. Let's go back to Teen Titans Go.
It was supposed to bring me awards and the respect of the entertainment industry. Instead, everyone thinks it's garbage!
You see, Control Freak is objectifying this show. I'm usually easygoing when it comes to shows that really just want to pump out money and that's it. Like probably 3/4 of the Knicks lineup and like 1/5 or 1/6 of the Cartoon Network lineup. But when your primary motive is to pump out money without caring about your image or message, then essentially you will realize that your season will run short.
Why would anyone dislike us?
Oh, I don't know. Dookie jokes?
We don't just do dookie jokes.
Yeah, you do. Bait and switch, lazy writing, attacking the audience, unlikable characters, unwatchable plots. But you're my new favorite show, so you get a gold star.
But we are not the acting! This is who we are!
I believe they messed up Starfire the worst.
Of course you don't. I've never told you this before because I was afraid your tiny enfeebled mind couldn't combobulate it. We are a cartoon.
In Angry Beavers, Norb, the smart one, is telling Dag, the hyperactive and not so smart one, that, well, I think you get it. In my opinion, I think this is more like trying to explain the concept of death to a child. They won't get it as quick because they usually never think of it. We as a society, at least in America, try not to make death the heavy topic that it is around kids. Just like sex, divorce, or anything else considered adult. In fact, Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and cartoons in general, we find these things out of our peers most of the time. And with the internet of today, I can understand why kids will still be under the rules of cartoons being real. However, how this shines is that it never makes this a heavy or sad topic. Let's face it, would you rather 12 minutes of laughs from a show's finale or 12 minutes of this?
Oh, I'm so sorry you didn't get any precious golden statues or industry accolades, but we don't care!
Control Freak represents us, or me, or people like me, who are critical. I personally don't care about awards. I care about the fact that you believe primetime children's entertainment should involve talking about industry accolades and defensive screaming, and then actually go through with it, being that animation takes a long time to make. So Control Freak says that if the show doesn't get better, he will reboot them. It's 3 minutes in, and that's over 10 times the amount that the Angry Beavers had when they got into their conflict, because they had to cram in a lot of self-hate for the audience.
Look upon your previous incarnation!
That looks like us, but better!
These Teen Titans were about character development.
No one is saying you aren't about drama or character development. You add drama, like axing any real romantic endeavors, sans Cyborg and Jinx that one time, and just making bait for any other romance or villain returns. You also do character development. Look how you turned the alien princess from a faraway land into this.
But we are not the acting! This is who we are!
Meanwhile,
Technically, we're an optical illusion. Observe.
Hey, get away with your evil magic!
I believe Norb turned sideways in a 3D world to show that he is, in fact, two-dimensional, therefore disappearing entirely, but Dag still doesn't get it. How come Norb can remain entirely clever and humorous and not bash into their network or audience? Probably because they put effort into making an original cartoon without latching onto a previous franchise. By the way, I'm not toxic. You may have noticed that I only say good things for the Angry Beavers and bad things for Teen Titans Go. This is because there's little good to say. The only one thing I can say is that they do a pretty decent job making Control Freak us and the Titans the creators. However, they do not answer or acknowledge even the most common of criticisms. How come you think your show is stupid? Why did you want to make Teen Titans Go if you never watched the original until after the show aired? How come you feel the need to make humor revolving negativity? So with the Angry Beavers, Norb decides to show Dag all of the elements that make up a cartoon, including the near infinite pain tolerance.
Remember all those times massive amounts of electricity have coursed through our bodies?
Rings a bell.
Pressurized gases have blown us up like balloons.
It's coming back to me.
Noxious, toxic substances have coursed down our throats.
Oh, yes,
Large
I remember
objects
that.
have fallen on our heads, and huge explosions have blown us to bits.
Yes.
Then Norb gives up, explaining his side of the situation that he's in. He doesn't seem as envious as our other cartoon over there. Let's check out what they're doing. So having the ability to make the interpretation of the ending, what do you decide to do with this power?
Yo, creeps, you wanna be creepy? Creep on this. Creeping like a creeper, creeping like a creeper.
Oh yeah, say waffles for about 12 minutes and recycle plots to a borderline scummy degree.
Wake up and smell the Korean ink and paint. We're cartoons, man.
The Angry Beavers has aired as early as 1994, with their last new episode airing in 2001, with reruns at around 2007 and a resurface of reruns in this decade. With over 20 years of syndication, do you think Cartoon Network will be airing Teen Titans Go in 20 years? They barely aired the original.
Stop with the Coots and Dookie! They don't hand out golden statues for Dookie!
Actually, Doogie from Johnny Test received a grand prize for Best Program Award in 2009.
Talented voice artists.
Like you, Nick.
And like you, Richard.
See, this joke might go over your head, and if you didn't know, Norb was voiced by Nick Bakay, and Dag was voiced by Richard Stephen Horvitz.
Norm,
Yeah.
I don't want you to panic, but something different is going on.
Dag finally gets it. But the episode doesn't turn around and start trashing Nick on their way out. They call this term, how do I say this? Using number 2 in the same place you eat. This is what I mean by respect. They do what they love, making jokes out of everyday life, and sometimes you get fired, dumped, or canceled in their case, and it's just showing you that you can at least get a positive out of almost anything. And with today, how the news is and how a lot of countries are so down in the dumps, secretive and pessimistic, apparently this is what we should not be teaching the youth. Yeah, okay.
I do say, did you hear the news about the election?
Aren't you so clever? Isn't this a logical fallacy, or just plain stupid and biased? You know how politicians take their complaints and spin it as if it was implemented to be a bad thing? This is exaggeration in its purest form. These people went to college and got paid for their service, and they completely missed the point. No one said that lowbrow humor is terrible. I mean, look at Clarence and SpongeBob. They do it, and we don't want those shows off the air, at least for that reason. And I get it, every show has their infamous episode. But instead of trashing the audience and using your characters as a device for you to air out your complaints, how about putting in the effort to make sure that you don't make another bad episode? They do some acting, which only proves my point that they pick and choose what to respond to and exaggerate those points. I'm not even going to speak on it.
I'll show those artists sensitivity.
Calm down, mighty stallion.
Okay,
It's not their fault.
it's not.
They're as sad to see us go as we are.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, yeah, because listen, right now they,
Yeah.
like you, are moving from the first stage of a cartoon being over, denial,
right.
to the second stage, anger!
So they decide to go down the road of denial, anger, bargaining, sadness, and acceptance, the 5 stages of grief. First it was denial, then anger, and now bargaining.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, what is it?
Maybe we can reason with these spooty cartoon being over guys. You know, give them something valuable like cash money or postage stamps or some autographed pictures. Or if we can't reason with them, maybe we can just pretend to and then kick their bahooties.
I am sure the animators are doing their very best with a limited budget and aggressive schedule.
Limited budget? You mean all of that ad revenue you received by airing 25 hours a day plus all the toys, merchandise, and all of that makes you limited? You work from Adobe Flash. How come The Amazing World of Gumball doesn't have an episode complaining about their limited budget and time being a burden on their better animation? In fact, what's so great about this cartoon airing now and the fact that I didn't put out this episode now, I get to put in a lot of retrospective things. Teen Titans Go is the only show on Cartoon Network at the time of recording this that is on air that has gotten the following. It has gotten a crossover and a 2-parter, and then another 2-parter, and then a 5-parter. And yes, Steven Universe kinda got that too with the crossover with Uncle Grandpa, and they also have some 2-parters in series, but here's the difference. When did Steven Universe turn to the camera and start twerking? When did Steven Universe complain about the limited time and budget? It's like a gang of Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., Thomas Edison, George Washington, and Kanye West.
Hey, animators! Take it up a notch. We need higher quality and a more whimsical style. Hop to it. Let's go.
Again, your animation quality is the way it is because you chose not to make it any better. But at the end of the day, we all love Tom and Jerry with its outdated production quality and criticize you for knowing better. Let's check back to the people who provide a good story and jokes instead of covering their own mistakes.
We don't have any bribes. All we have is cartoon stuff. See? These aren't even real.
Ow.
I do believe they laid on the "we're not real" slightly overboard in a serious manner, which could have been used to make more jokes about it or just jokes in general. I won't pretend like this is perfect, but they put effort into it, making their final episode celebratory.
It's a good thing we're over, Nicky Norb. It sure would be hard living here without our stuff.
Congratulations, Dagamahart. You've reached the final level of being over.
I have.
Acceptance.
After going through sadness, they reach acceptance, the final stage. And they don't cry because it's going, they would rather laugh and be positive that it happened. Dr. Seuss got this, and he writes for the same or younger audience. What I don't like about Teen Titans Go is that they have what I like to call a teenager complex. They act like they don't care about their criticisms, but then make an episode saying that they don't care, putting in the effort into something they don't care about, but still act like they don't care, but portray themselves as the victim, even though they don't care. In fact, let's see what Teen Titans Go thinks their critics think is an improved cartoon.
Would any of you care for a slice of rhubarb pie?
Why, I would love nothing more in the world than a slice of 3.14159.
Totally an improvement. Look at the smart jokes. I mean, it's not like March 14th already took this joke. Look at the animation quality. That totally doesn't look like Adobe Flash. Look at the fluid animation. Let's throw in our love and support for adding in a few more frames per second. This is what a great cartoon looks like. I had this problem back in 2040, and I have this problem here. Increased animation does not make up for a bad story, but apparently this is what a great cartoon looks like. So you know what, guys? This is so much better than Angry Beavers. You know what? It's great. I like it. I like this new highbrow humor. You know, this is exactly what all of the other shows are doing. I mean, look at Pizza Steve. He has the intellect of Thomas Edison. Let's look over at Clarence. It's not like Sumo is basically your low-income rowdy kid trope. Oh, let's look over at Gumball. Maybe Gumball will have it. Because Gumball is a straight A student and they always make smart jokes. But no, I think We Bare Bears has it. Because Grizzly is top of the line. He's a valedictorian, right? But no, maybe Powerpuff Girls has this. Except they don't, and that's the only reason you did a crossover with them. I'm running out of cartoons. I mean, the only ones that are left are Steven Universe and Adventure Time, and let's just say you've made it clear that you do not want to acknowledge them for good reason. As we go back to Angry Beavers, the following scene is speculated to be the reason why this finale didn't air.
Norby, what happens when you're over?
Oh, it's not so bad.
No?
If a cartoon's good, even if it isn't, it's rerun incarnated.
Ooh, does that hurt?
No.
Oh.
Only when you get the later checks.
And that is what sets the Angry Beavers thing to respect over Teen Titans Go.
The cartoon being over, guys, rerun it over and over, and they make lots of well-deserved money.
Which they share with the people who made the cartoon, right?
Woo! Right. So you see, it's all for the better.
Right.
Even though we're vanishing, we'll be back over and over again at virtually no cost to the network.
That's great, Norby,
Yeah.
Nick. It's like immortality without having to show up every day.
Exactly.
Did you notice that although they point out their vices with the network, they don't make it obvious and cringeworthy? They explain the concept so well that this subject could be about death and it would still work fantastically. They use their humor and their screen of being a cartoon to explain their thoughts instead of using their cartoon as a device to be passive aggressive.
Then does this mean you are not going to reshoe us?
Oh, I don't have to. You already rebooted yourselves.
This was your evil game the whole time!
So wait, you're proud that you're improved, but you're mad that Control Freak didn't help you, but you're happy that your quality has gotten better? Yet you didn't want to change back because someone told you to? You know, when they say Teen Titans Go, it's not because they have your cliche, stereotypical teen state of mind. It's because they're literally teenagers. But I think a lot of people wouldn't consider you guys teens. Well, let's compare the two endings, right? Angry Beavers?
Time to say bye-bye, Daggy.
Bye, Daggy. Hey, Spoot, I thought there weren't any more of these card thingies, Norby, Nick.
Last one, Dag. I promise.
Now that it's over, Norbnik, I've got one thing I've always wanted to say. Shut up!
Oh, Dad.
Yeah?
We forgot one thing.
Oh, that's right.
April Fool!
Absolutely marvelous. Teen Titans Go.
But we are proud of who we are and what we represent. And we are not changing any of that based on your evil whims. We are the Teen Titans!
No, you're a version of the Teen Titans. Look, the most stubborn of haters should admit that Teen Titans Go didn't look bad on paper. The idea of taking Teen Titans Go and making it a comedy could work when you treat the original with the respect that it earned. It is your faulty execution that deems you lowbrow. And it's funny that you think you're proud of your low effort and that it makes you seem better than you really are. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And maybe this may be the last episode I do of Teen Titans Go, at least for a while. Like I said, episode 50, please get canceled. Anyways, this was a versus video that really should have been out a lot earlier. In fact, in the script, it says that this was a second versus video, which means it should have been out before the Very Odd Parents one and before the other Teen Titans Go one. So this would make it the 6th video. Tomorrow, I'll be doing a 100,000 views special. And then on the 16th, I will be doing a 1,000 subscriber special. I'll be doing the best of the best and the worst of the worst. I hope you join me next time because I'll be knocking out 2 shows that I've pretty much avoided. And I know a lot of people love it. And that's why I wanted to get the worst out of the way so we can get on with the best. As always, I hope your time was well spent. And Alpha out.